So,
hi everybody.
Well, so I have been hinting for probably the last like couple of months that we've had a secret. I haven't told him. We have a secret, have not said a thing. And I finally got this woman up here to sit down, and I'm still missing a few people, but at least we can talk about it because I think it's official. I think it's time that we can.
It's official.
It's official.
It's official.
We need to share some news.
We got lots of news to share. It's official. My husband and I bought property. It first started in front of Kaylee's property.
That grew us to 40 acres.
Yeah, so that grew to 40.
Yeah.
And then the property beside the farm became available, and that's now grown the farm to 60 acres.
The history of the property, we put it
back together.
Yeah, this property, look, we have a little bee coming in saying hi to us.
So now the property is 60s.
We have to tell them about where we're sitting though, because that's the big one. I have been hoarding footage for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And I think it's time that we actually tell you what we're doing and why we're doing it.
So have you ever been on a journey or path and like you're scared, but you're not sure, and you're indecisive, and you want, and maybe even one little more, but you're like, how is this even going to be possible? How is this even going to happen? And I'm a woman of faith, and 4 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years. 5, no, longer than that, because I've been here for
5 years.
No, probably about 6 years ago when you were.
Yeah. 6 years ago.
Maybe even longer than that.
Well, so how far do we go back in the story?
Oh. So see what had happened was.
All right. No. So hold on. I got it. I start. Okay. So
I know.
I have always loved this property. Unbeknownst to Kaylee, I have been on this property, been coming to this property for years and years and years. I hadn't quite come this far down on the property, but I have been at this property, and I would just come back here and I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. And then Kaylee tells me, Mom.
Well, my husband found this property for sale online and was like, sent it to me. I was like, oh wow, that's really pretty. And he was like, oh, I already got an appointment. We're going to go view it. So I didn't know that my mom already had kind of known about this area prior. And it's mainly because...
About 10 years prior. I used to run fire and rescue with a local volunteer fire department. And we would come out here next door and cut and receive about 40 to 50 trees or more every year for, I don't even know how many years, 4 or 5 years in a row to sell for the fire department. So I spent an early Saturday morning, couple of times a year in the fall, which this area is gorgeous, picking up, cutting, picking, and loading Christmas trees that they would sell.
Yeah, and so our journey, which I've shared early on, but I've had since now
I'm going to put a link up on that.
A bunch more subscribers now to kind of share the history about the Honeystead and how it kind of started. But essentially, much like many of you who are starting your homestead, it started with My husband and I wanted to become self-sufficient, more self-sufficient, and we wanted our children to be brought up in this kind of lifestyle.
And it was 6 chicks and 2 ducks,
it was 6 baby chicks and 2 ducks that really started our journey. And then when I started realizing what we weren't and were allowed to do on the property and the land that we pay for, that kind of more so what we weren't allowed to do, definitely changed our way of thinking. And it was like, nope, we're all in. We're gonna find a farm and we're gonna homestead, and this is what we're gonna do. And so my husband found this house and he sent it to me, and I was like, wow, that's gorgeous. You know, are you sure? Beautiful. And so, you know,
how did we make it work?
2 minutes walking inside and the rest of the time on the property. And I was like, okay,
that's it.
Okay. And, you know, he was like, well, we're already good to go. You know, we've got a viewing.
We're approved.
Let's do it. And so we came and fell in love, and that was it. And then
called me and said, Mom, you got to come see this house. And I'm like, okay, give me directions. And I'm like, oh, no way.
Property across for us came up on the market a couple years back. We had heard it was going to go up on the market. We're so secluded, and my husband and I were like, man, we would love to get this, but we don't need it, you know, but it would be nice. And then
mentioned it to us, and then at the time
it all fell into play.
The first time around, I was like, I don't even know where to begin. There was just a lot of things. You know, when you know, there's a lot of ducks that have to kind of get in a row in order to make transition and change happen.
But when it's easy, you know that it's meant.
Well, hold on, because the first time the availability came up with the first parcel of land, when we were ready to go ahead and go, yes, we got told it got sold.
Yeah.
And my heart really, I mean, I was just like, bah! I was so devastated. And then I was like, you go through all of it. And then what, about
probably
a year later? 6 months to a year later?
I don't even think that much longer. We found out that it was going back up on the market. It never had, nobody had planned on builds or anything. And
I think just something changed in that person's life, or whatever circumstances happened that property came back on the market. And then at that point it was like, okay, let's do this. And
so then that's where
it started. And so the first 8 acres got purchased.
Yeah.
And added to their 32, made 40
altogether.
And then
now the whole time that we're doing this, you know, we're living here, there was 20 acres beside us, and that was essentially a hunting property cabin for a gentleman that had
hands behind me
that loved this land. Yeah. And we understood and valued the fact that he could get away to come here, and this was his paradise. Refuge. And we respected that. I mean, my husband kept an eye on him when he was around, you know, older gentleman, still wanted to hunt. We had to go drag a deer out of the woods because he, you know, needed a little bit of help. So we did what we did to be able to see him
It's a neighborly thing that you do.
And then on the other hand, my husband also helped
maintain the grass and
keep it cut and taken care of, and the trails accessible, so that he could just come out here and enjoy it instead of coming out here at he's around, he's what, 80s? Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah. Well into his 80s.
And he talked to us a few times about, you know, I think I'm ready to sell it. And my husband and I were like, okay, well, you know, we're not quite ready. Let me, you know, let's talk to the family. Let's see if they want it. And it's, can you hold on just a little bit longer? We'll keep maintaining the property for you if you just, you know, just give us a little bit more time.
Yep.
And then the time finally came.
So it's like, okay, so now what? You want something, I don't know about anybody else, but,
if it's work and if it's too hard, if every obstacle keeps being laid in front of you, then it's not the right thing.
Right, and you keep hitting like
a wall.
Yeah, a wall, and it's like...
And if you pray over it and ask for it and just keep continuing to have faith.
It was, okay, God, if this is meant to be, then show me how, because...
And it is.
And that's what happens. So where there's a will, there was a way.
Right.
We found a way. And it's still, don't get me wrong, there's still a ton of obstacles that we are still going to have to go through. But what started as, wow, this is really beautiful, has now turned into, and how can...
Now I'm scratching my head being like, how did this all happen? Actually, I know how this happened.
Well,
I know how this happened.
Yeah.
So, in that process, you guys will kind of see some of the things that we've got to do. We've got a major pasture that we're getting ready to start fencing in to grow our fields
so that
we have more land for our livestock. We have a pond now that we need to rehab and turn back into a pond.
Water source. Yeah.
Dreams for me is homestead self-sufficiency. I want it stocked. I want it to be able to be a place of like peace and refuge.
I need a rope and just tie at the end and grab on, because when this one goes, it's just like Tasmanian devil. She just goes and I hang on, and I tell you what, this has been, here's the really beautiful part. It's the gratitude that we have been able to be recipients of. I mean, and truly appreciate. And then with this, with this story,
right,
the beginning,
right,
it's growing. It's like if you do good and the good gets multiplied. And this is what's happening, because this little hunting cabin,
which
is
is
right behind me, it's going to have a new life. And this is another step in journey in our direction. And now there might even be a possibility that it's going to go even more lateral.
We'll keep you guys.
Yeah. And even more dimensional.
We'll keep you guys ahead. We'll keep you guys informed of that.
Yeah.
But so my mom and I have been taking classes for over a year now.
2?
No. Has it been 2 years?
It was pre-COVID.
Was it pre-COVID or was it COVID?
It was pre-COVID when we started. So 2019, 2020.
We have been taking classes and...
Yeah, 2019, 2 years. No,
doing herbalism and
learning
and also planning our future and actually taking. I have a vision. I've got a dream. She's got a vision. She's got a dream. We're putting it together and we're seeing how it fits. But essentially,
and it's working.
This building is going to be our official.
It's going to be the official apothecary.
Yeah.
And
did we come up with a name for it yet?
I think we have. I think the name was given as the Beekeeper's Apothecary and the Garden Apothecary, which we have tens of thousands of seeds.
Medicinal seeds.
That we are going to find that, that we're just going to invite to grow.
Yeah.
And where we are, again, this is one of those things. It's a journey.
Hold on tight, because we're being pushed to do this in a way that we have to listen.
Yeah, we're getting like,
this is too easy.
And then we're taking a step, and then it's followed by yes.
So, we have been working away in this building, and while while I'm sharing this story. You'll see all the B-roll, you'll see all the footage. We have built lumber, we are doing the walls. There's still a lot more to do. We haven't decided, I feel like, on colors and cabinets, but don't worry, we're gonna share that with you guys.
We've got windows.
Oh yeah,
we've got windows.
It's a rehab building.
So there's already love in this building from the original landowner that had this building built, and the appreciation and love for the land. Now we're growing that love, and with the apothecary and the herbs and the plants. I think we're on the same track.
Pretty sure we're on the right track.
So the one thing that Kaylee and I have always shared is that, you know, when you have the gift of learning, and you have the next gift, which is teaching and giving it back, or paying it forward, or growing it even
How about
more,
planting that seed,
then the beekeeper's apothecary and the regenerative gardens for the apothecary, and the expanding. It all started with a little seed. And the next thing is kind of, if you just picture dropping that seed in water and letting it do what the water and the sun and everything's going to do.
Let the roots take, and see
let
what
it go.
blooms.
Yep.
You know, that is where I think we're at. And, you know, so yeah, our plan is, this is going to be an apothecary.
We should almost name it etc. because
I know. But
you know,
our vision is to be able to have it as a place. I mean, there's workshops that I want to do.
Yeah.
There's workshops that she wants to do.
There's
workshops that we want to do.
We want to do tea blending. We want to do
spice mixing.
Spice mixing.
I want to get in. I want to have a classroom for
that's
beekeeping.
For more.
It's more. You know, and so this allows us to have a place. This allows us to have, you know,
it's the refuge. Don't tell anybody. When Kaylee and I need them,
you're like, I'm gonna go up. Oh,
I got work to do.
Dishes need to be. I'm going to the apothecary. Yeah. So this is the vision. This is the dream, and roots are taking place.
Yep.
I think the beekeeper's apothecary is the perfect name.
Yep.
You know,
we're beekeepers.
We
it's
are
an apothecary.
Beekeepers, and there's so much, you know, and my vision as a herbalist and as a beekeeper is, how do my worlds combine? You know, why is it, and I've shared, you know, and yes, I have blogs that I need to put out there. I got to work on that.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are plants that are so medicinal for you. There are plants that are medicinal for the bees. And how is it connected? Yeah. And be able to bring my camera up and not only document this, because in 20, 30 years, my kids are going to look back at this and they're going to be like, you know, Mama and Mommy were bad apples because we're doing what we're doing. But it's part of our story, and it's great to be able to share this with you guys. You know,
I don't know where this is going to end.
I have a feeling I know where it's going to end, and I've put a lot of my personal faith in. You know, there is one thing that I have gathered from sharing through YouTube and through our story and what we're doing, and the one thing that I've gathered is that there is a sense of comfort that people gain from feeling like they're learning in a way that's building them up and not breaking them down.
Yep.
And that is the one thing that as a person that's I don't even want to say, I'm a person just like any other person.
That's a virtue I think we try to live by.
I want to live by that, and I want people to be able to come here and feel like they're learning something that is going to be good.
Yep.
And who knows what'll happen. But for right now, we still have quite a bit of renovation to do, and
I don't know how it's all going to get done.
It's going to get done.
It's getting done.
We've got some plans, so this is the start of it.
Yep.
And the story is still coming. Thank you guys for watching, and
don't be afraid
to get your hands dirty.
and learn something old.
Bye, guys.
Bye.